Here in Chippewa, we have an embarrassment of riches in parking spaces. When people ask me to tell them about the church where I serve, my favorite bit of trivia is that we are one worshiping community with 2 sanctuaries, 3 parking lots, and 4 ways in. But it's the parking lots that I find the most interesting, because our vision is to worship and learn and serve and connect, and so the other things all make sense, but to maintain and keep 3 parking lots most of the time is extravagance. But the reason we do it is because for the days that we need it, we want to have the spaces available. And for the days like weddings and funerals, we need these spaces. For those 2 days are probably the biggest days in the life of most churches. Maybe for you, they were the last time you were in a church. And as different as those days might seem from each other, they're actually kind of mirror images of each other. It might sound a little bit jarring to you to think about those 2 days that are so different as being more alike than we might want them to be, but I want to suggest that they're actually kind of similar. Both days carry a kind of particular emotional weight to them. Both are days when far-flung families come together for a purpose, and both are days that celebrate some kind of a life transformation moment. Both are days that people feel drawn towards something spiritual. And both are days that definitely involve food. But what really marks these days is that after a funeral, a family piles into their vehicles and a string of cars winds its way to a gravesite where the body is then buried. And after a wedding, a family lines up one by one to offer their congratulations to the new couple. Both the funeral procession and the receiving line kind of resemble this strange practice that we might call, for lack of a better word, a parade. The term parade comes from an old French word that means a showing, and because a parade is really a showcase. It's a showcase of support. Whether it's for a person or a group or a political movement, it's a way for people to feel close to the big things that are happening in the world around them. To showcase the community of support that a new couple has, or to showcase the life well lived, and to showcase what God has done through the resurrection of Jesus. Parades tend to go hand in hand with moments of celebration. Think of the Raptors winning the NBA championship. Think of the Super Bowl parade held every year. Think about the World Series parades that are held. Think about the celebrations at Christmas time when Santa Claus comes to town. All of these involve a parade because capital C celebrations tend to showcase something. And showcasing something is what this week is all about. Because this week is bookended by celebrations. And it's bookended by parades. Now, parades that look as different from each other as a funeral procession from a receiving line, granted, but parades nonetheless. Today is the start of this journey into Jerusalem as Jesus makes his way into his final week of earthly life. Riding on a donkey, we're told that people flock to his coming, that they laid down their coats on the ground as a sign of support and submission, and that they waved political flags to show their desire for freedom. In both cases, people were showcasing what they wanted to see happen. And in 7 days' time, the parade would be much more subdued, because a small group of women would be making their way to the edge of town in a funeral procession of a kind to honor the broken body of their rabbi. But to their surprise, the garden was there ready for them with its own reason to celebrate. Celebration is a strange muscle to get used to using in a world that tells us that productivity and efficiency are what really matter. Because celebration asks us to put those aside. It says, be done with what needs to be done in this moment, and instead turn your attention to what can be done. Celebration is always some kind of a waste. It is wasteful to gather and cease what we could be doing to watch Santa Claus drive by. But celebration asks us to put ourselves in a different story than the one that the world tells. Because When we gather for a wedding, when we gather for a funeral, the world doesn't stop, but we do. We stop to celebrate. We pause in our moment to intentionally live into a different story with different priorities and a different end in mind. Celebration is the wonderful expression of hope that is lived out in daily life all around us. And if ever there was a reason for hope, it is everything that happens this week. So we'll see you tomorrow.